Burt finished his caulking, patching, and painting, and he said, "Ain't perfect, but you'll hold till we get home, I hope." Giggling up, we have to get busy. Leela's back home rattling her stove lids and getting impatient over our not being home in time to eat. First of all, Burt tugged and shoved until he got the Tidely Idly turned about so that her bow pointed in the right direction. Then, he systematically set about trying to give the whale an upset tummy. Whales has got strong stomachs, Burt explained to the giggling gull, and it takes more than a mixture of ketchup, ice cream, pickles, and peppermint mince pie and mustard to call their attention to the fact that their tummy's upset. He began by pumping out the Tidely Idly to the very bottom of the bilge. In an old boat, that always produces a lot of interesting things, such as old crab claws, clams, bait, rusty fish hooks, a can opener, corroded pieces of brass, all mixed up in a nice big helping of sediment. Burt started scooping up the sediment on the end of a piece of shingle and began flipping it. A little gob here, a little gob there, making a big splatter spots on the inside lining of that tummy. The tummy began to quiver like a horse's flank, flicking off flies. Then Burt opened a leftover gallon of yellow deck paint and started sloshing it around, dribbling a little bit here, a little bit there. He was beginning to enjoy himself. Probably because it was the first time he'd ever had a chance to really express his personality in paint. Next, he took a can of cut grease and with the shingle started spattering a few accents here and there. By now, the whale's tummy was all a-quiver. It disturbed Burt's aim a bit, and he misplaced a few globs of cut grease. Well, the tummy began to make rumbling noises, and flip-a-lot this away, flip-a-lot that away, and Burt knew right off that it would only take the lightest touch to make the tummy break loose from its moorings and get upset. He, quick as he could, jumped into the Tidely Idly and started to make and break. Chuckity-bang, chuckity-bang. "Giggly gull," he shouted. "Wiggle your wings and fly away up to the up-forward hatchway and tickle this whale's throat with a feather." Of course, the exhaust and jiggling of the make and break helped, but 'twas the tickle that turned the trick. With the dark, dampest rumble ever heard, the big tummy flipped this away, that away, then, with a wail of a brrrr, the boat and Burt, firm hand on the tiller, giggling gull flying along behind, making break going wide open, came clackety-banging out of the wide open mouth of the whale, going so fast that they barely touched the tops of the first two waves and landed right dab, smack, in the middle of a whole school of whales. Burt eased up on the throttle of the make and break and tried to steer a snug course between two whale tails. One, the color of Ginny Poor's pantry, t'other, the color of the floors and doors of Doc Walton's waiting room. But the way was blocked by a whale tail, the color of the porch and trim on Captain Haskell's house. Every time Burt shifted course, there seemed to be more whale tails in the way. Finally, Burt stopped the make and break and let the Tidely Idly drift among the whale tails while he decided what to do next. He bobbed around in his boat, studying the situation. Then he took out his glass and studied some more. And then he finally said, "Well, that's a whale of a lot of whale tails," making what amounted to a classic understatement. "You can hardly see the forest or the trees," Burt complained, "or the whales for the tail." There must be some reason, Burt thought, why all this school of whales were waving their tails toward the Tidely Idly. All except one here, he looked through the glass, at a pale whale that looked exactly as though it had an upset tummy from a bit of bilge water, cut grease, deck paint, and had its throat tickled by a feather. Yep, that whale looks a bit under the weather, but it also looks content. Meanwhile, the rest of the school of whales seemed to be getting impatient. They twitched the tips of their tails and whacked them down in the water. "Careful, fellow Burt, the Tidely Idly's got a tender spot and you're apt to spring a seam. If first you don't swat us like a fly, which is no fit way for an old deep water man and his vessel to go to Davy Jones." What with the Tidely Idly's regular leaks and all the water being splashed aboard by impatient whale tails, Burt had to keep pumping slish-ka-slock, And he didn't have much time to wonder what made one whale contented and what made all the rest of the schools so slap happy with the tail. Stronger and younger men might have given up, but not our deep water man, Burt Dow. He kept right on pumping with one hand, slish the slosh, while he poked around in his toolbox with the other, still pumping, slish the slosh, and pulled out a Band-Aid, unfurled it from its wrappings between his teeth, and slapped it up onto the tip of the nearest whale tail. Burt knew right off that his troubles were over. The whales were only impatient at my taking so long to understand them. Burt explained to Giggling Gum. Whales is really very patient about standing or swimming in line to have the tips of their tails decked out with the Band-Aid. After all the whale tails had been decorated, each with a peppermint striped Band-Aid, the entire school swam tails held high in a tremendous circle around the tiny island. An old deep water man like Burt couldn't resist shouting, "Oh, she blows!" in the best classic tradition. Then all together, 1, 2, 3, the school whale threw 3 big blows for Burt Dow and swam off over the horizon. Never did see, said Burt, so many tons of contentment come out of one such little old Band-Aid box. He still had one Band-Aid left, and he knew he'd never need it himself. Never was a lobster hatched or caught who could ever clamp a claw on Burt Dow. So just for a joke, he said, "Giggling Gum, let's take this last Band-Aid home to Leland." Tee-hee-hee, giggled the gum, because she always was one who enjoyed Burt's little jokes. "And we better take it right now," said Burt, "so as not to keep her waiting." But then Burt noticed that the water was up over the floorboards. We started pumping again, slish, slosh, slish, slosh. Then he cranked his make and break, clackety-bang, clackety-bang, and with a firm hand on the tiller, Giggling Gum flying along behind, he headed the tidely idly back up the bay. And they made it home just